You're watching Duct Tape and Popsicle Sticks with Mike and Maria Keiser. Because sometimes you feel like your business is being held together by duct tape and popsicle sticks. On this show, you're not going to hear the latest business fad. You're going to get useful information that you can apply to your own business right now.
Hello and thanks for watching another amazing episode of Duct Tape and Popsicle Sticks. I'm Mike Keiser along with world famous pet food tester Maria Keiser. How are you today? Folks, this is a woman who, even if the pet food, the dog food is in its package, not touching anything, she doesn't want it on the kitchen counter. And that's a real job, by the way.
Yeah,
people actually do that for a living. But I digress, because, a lot of the time, in fact, almost every time we do the show, it's based on an example of something that's just happened, maybe with one of our clients or something like that. Today, it's us, or it's me, or we're the example of the show today. But I thought it was really important because I know every marketer and every small business owner has faced this at one point. And the difficult lesson we want to share with you today is quit trying to convince people of anything. And we all want to do it. Like when we feel passionate, when we feel strong about something, we're like, why don't you get it? Like, this is so important, this is so real.
Right.
But we had two examples recently, like the same problem, two different people, of where convincing someone or attempting to convince someone, it had the exact opposite effect.
Right,
How's that? And I'll get into the, a little bit of the background story where, we had two clients and both asked for and were in needs of tons of marketing help.
Mm-hmm.
One of them had a little bit of results from marketing. The second one actually was getting no results from his marketing effort. So they're saying, hey, can you help me out? Can you bring me suggestions? Can you help me get more effective on bringing a more steady flow of prospects, etc.? But it was weird because both of them argued with every suggestion. The old, like our last episode, well, that's not true in my industry. It was those kinds of arguments. One even said to me, well, email marketing is dead and it's so last year. I want to know what is next year's marketing. And I tried to explain, well, that I know it feels last year, but email is still 40 times more effective at conversion than any form of social media. Yeah, but it just doesn't jive with me. It doesn't feel right, etc. And we ended up in completely circular conversations where frankly every party ended up in frustration.
Sure.
And so, but it's easy to fall into that trap, right? Of I gotta convince you why this is right. But as a marketer or as a small business owner, I feel like we should get out of that. I'm attempting to convince you why you should buy from me. But why do you think people do that? And what should we as the small business owners be doing rather than trying to convince people why they should believe something?
Well, I think the number one thing is why people do it is I would say two reasons. One, from a marketing perspective, marketing's uncomfortable, and it feels icky. And number two, a lot of times you've been doing marketing, right? These two examples are people who've tried marketing and haven't gotten any results. And so you're very cynical about the topic to start with.
Mm-hmm.
So, number one, sometimes we just feel like we need to be right, even if we're sacrificing the results.
True.
And
our
so,
need to be right is strong.
it is our ego, and we are business owners, and we're all guilty of having that ego. I think the other thing is, if you start engaging and getting into that kind of convincing conversation, what you're going to do is just kind of divide the room, and then one will say no, it's this way, and one will say no, it's this way, and then it's possible, and maybe it's a result of the other two wanting to be right or feeling stubborn, but then there's this I don't believe what you're saying kind of feeling. It's just, no, it can't possibly be that way. And think about it, if you were doing something a certain way and then somebody came and said, oh no, you could do it this way over here, you might be like, whoa, what are you talking about here? So,
I had always been told that
Right.
way doesn't work. People don't like when you do it that
Right.
way. Yeah.
So, we all get sucked into those kinds of conversations, but really the best course of action to take is let that person go and do what they're going to do, and choose not to work with someone, and stop trying to convince someone. As soon as you see it turning south, just say, whoa, I surrender. This is probably not going to be a good fit for me.
Probably,
Yeah.
because what we've learned in marketing is the best way to get results is simply provide people awesome information and let them self-select.
Sure.
Like let them say, oh, I hadn't thought about that. That's a really good idea.
Right.
Instead of saying, email marketing is dead. And what would be perfectly fine is if people say, I'm not that comfortable with email marketing. Can we talk about why I would want to do that in my business? Which is way different than saying that is just so last year.
Right. But at the end of the day, we can't take this stuff personally, and we also have to understand where people's values are. There are some people that just don't value marketing. And so if they don't value it, then no matter what you say is just going to sound too uncomfortable for them.
It is.
Yeah.
And I know personally that going through that convincing process, it's mentally draining and it's frustrating, and it's easy for me to take things like that personally, but we can't take it personally, can we? No, we can't. So get out of the game of trying to convince people. Provide them the information that they need, that is going to show them, and then let them decide for themselves.
Right. Just a quick story, and I know we've gone over time. I had a client like that, and there was one part of what we were talking about that no way, they weren't going to believe me, they weren't going to hear me, they weren't anything. And so I dropped it because, no sense in making yourself crazy over that. And about 2 years later, he received something, and he wrote back, he's like, oh, now I understand. So, sometimes it's just they weren't in a place to hear it, they weren't ready to hear it. And you know what, quite frankly, maybe sometimes you're just wrong.
I mean, that's true too. I've heard that some people are wrong sometimes.
Yeah, I know, not you, but...
No, but it happens.
Yeah.
It happens apparently. So please, folks, save yourselves the frustration and agony of trying to convince anyone of anything. Provide great information and let the chips fall where they may.
Absolutely.
Anything else you want to say about
I
that?
don't think so.
Wow. I think that was it then, right? Okay. We really appreciate you hanging out with us and watching these videos. We've been getting good feedback, and all we would like you to do is, if you're enjoying these and finding things you can apply to your business, well, two things. Subscribe, and let other people know. That's all we're asking of you
So
today.
subscribe and share.
Subscribe and share. Wow, what a nice philosophy of life, isn't it? In the meantime, you have been watching Duct Tape and Popsicle Sticks, where we make your business better 3 minutes at a time.
Ciao for now.
You're watching Duct Tape and Popsicle Sticks with Mike and Maria Keiser.